everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say less.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
And good morning. Welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz, and along with me is the one and only, the man with the buys, the man with the tries, the one with the broad chest, the one and only John Borba. Johnny, how's it going, brother?
It's going.
JB, last night, let's get right into it. We had a hell of a scrap. We had the Kansas City Chiefs go into Florida to play the Jacksonville Jaguars in a very close, tough win that ended in a little bit of a stumble, mumble, jumble. You know what the first thing I thought of last night, JB, whenever I'm watching Trevor Lawrence kind of slip and fall, kind of try to get his feet under him and then scramble to score the game-winning touchdown. The first thing that I thought about was, because it is fall, it is October, the first thing I thought about was Michael Myers. And I just thought about some white girl trying to run away from him and stumbling and fumbling and just trying to catch her feet. And I mean, it might be ironic that Trevor Lawrence slightly kind of looks like a cute girl, but that's what I thought about immediately. I'm like, all right, this is a scary movie. This is one of those dreams that you're having where it's like you can see what you're trying to complete or succeed in, but for whatever reason, it's just so hard to get there. You ever had those dreams, JB, where you're like, I guess for me, the last one that I had was once. It's like when you're getting in a fight, but you're swinging, and it's like so slow motion, and then you hit them, and it doesn't do anything. It feels like it barely goes. Boom.
Yeah.
You throw a haymaker, and it's like, boom, boom. And then you wake up sweating. That's kind of what I felt when I watched Trevor Lawrence last night. But he did get on his feet, so he did wake up from that nightmare, and then ultimately ended up scoring. Ayo, yes, I forgot to say pause on that. I apologize. But Trevor Lawrence ending with a beautiful touchdown there, JB. You know, when that game started, JB, Chiefs drive down, get in the red zone, and then there was that pick play from Juju Smith-Schuster. If you watch the replay, so immediately I went on Twitter. Obviously, Twitter was going crazy, right? How'd they not throw the flag? Blah, blah, blah. But if you watch, Juju was about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and wide receivers get a yard in front of them to make contact, so that way they avoid that penalty. And that's exactly what happened. If you notice, the line of scrimmage was at the 2-yard line. Juju makes contact at the 1, making it an eligible play. But immediately in my head, I'm thinking, okay, here we go. It's going to be one of those days where the Chiefs just seem to get everything go their way. It kind of went that way until it didn't, right? But the Jags tried to find ways to lose that game. It felt like they were trying to give it to the Chiefs. Of course, Patrick Mahomes hits us with a beautiful gift. Mind you, on my fantasy team going into today, I was up 20 points with only Mahomes left to play. Of course, I'm going against him. He covers that in the first half. But the one thing that kept me alive, JB, was that pick 6 for a touchdown there in the red zone. The joy in my face. I'm so juiced. It brings them. So the score at this point is 127 to 130. And then he throws that pick 6, so that he drops down to 124. I'm up 3 points. In my head, I'm like, oh, I have a chance. I have a chance to pull off this upset. Mind you, this is my dynasty team. I took over it for one of my buddies, Caleb. He's out there at that Farm Bureau, so shout out to him and his insurance company. But I took over his team. His team kind of stinks. We made a couple roster moves. We had our draft where we just draft rookies. If anybody knows what a dynasty league is, it's a carryover of just continuous seasons. You're almost a long-term GM, and you can't really get fired because you own your own team, right? But he brought me onto his squad to help him out there, and we're scrapping right now. Right now we're sitting at the 8th seed, but I was really hopeful for that pick to keep us alive. And of course, Mahomes came back and dropped another 7 fantasy points, and they ended up winning, which I kind of expected. I was just playing my part, playing my gimmick. of what it was. But hey, what was your takeaways from last night's game?
Honestly, I thought it was a game where the Chiefs were gonna, kind of show us, hey, we're back on track. We're one of the powerhouses in the AFC. That's what I thought. But they scored first, obviously 7-0, and then that goal line stop where Trevor Lawrence, where it was kind of debatable if he crossed the
He
if he
didn't though.
in or not
Yeah,
with
he
the
didn't.
ball. But I guess he didn't have the ball in his hand. So automatically you're down 14-0. You're thinking that, okay, it's the game's over, right? But the thing about the Jags, they kept scrapping. They had a good game plan. They actually, him and Brian Thomas made some good hookups throughout the game. Travis Etienne, I mean, he's definitely having a bounce back year. Um, the running game was going good. So and the defense played solid. Like honestly, this is a pretty respectable defense, and they just kept fighting the whole time. They were never out of the game, and that pick six just swayed the entire game. It changed the entire game. I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, like this is. I had a little bet going. I was like, oh yeah, everything's gonna hit. We're looking good. That pick six happened. It kind of changed how Mahomes played the rest of the game, where he's like, it's where it's more on his shoulders, where he's taking off and stuff like that. And I was like, it was one of those games. But the Jaguars played really good. The Jaguars, they're
Trevor
definitely
Lawrence
a
cooking.
team this year. Like they're back on the map for sure. So with the Chiefs, I man, it's it's another hard loss, but I think there's still hope. I think obviously in Kansas City, like you
They're the
cannot,
Chiefs.
yeah, you just can't discredit Patrick Mahomes and those guys. Like, and they get Rice back after this next week, so I think it's too late to panic. They're still going
Too
to be
early.
for the division title, I think, in December. So I think everything is still good. Things just
Yeah,
didn't go.
their division is underperforming right now, so it's going to keep them alive. Yesterday, my takeaways is the fact that Trevor Lawrence was able to put that game on his back and drag them to victory. And that last play was kind of a summary of what that whole game was. Right? It was the Jags uh, staying in it, grinding a game that they should have. No, I don't want to say they should have won, but a game that was leaning towards them winning. The way they came out in the second half, they did put 24 points on that defense. That was probably a little disappointing from a Kansas City fan perspective, is seeing your defense kind of get beat down. But it was in the legs of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence yesterday was the best runner on that Jacksonville team. He had 10 carries for 54 yards. And I mean, the most important thing about those rushes is the timing, and the matter of that they happen. I mean, they were crucial third downs where he was able to convert and get another set of downs. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. His longest rush was for 16 yards. I mean, I've always said this about the Bills, is that your quarterback can't be your best rusher, but there's games where they are going to have to use their legs and kind of will themselves to that victory. And that's what we saw out of Jacksonville. To me, the first thing I thought as they won is, wow, this is a season defining win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this kind of this kind of win will elevate this team. Of course, we'll find out this next weekend to see if they're able to continue that run, or if it's one of those situations where they were on such a high, coming off such a big win, and then they have a massive letdown on Sunday. And that's kind of when we find out what type of locker room, what type of coach they have. Is Liam that guy to be able to prep these guys to be able to move forward from such a massive high, such a big win at home, and be able to carry that momentum over to the next week. And then we'll really get to know a lot about the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off this win. I don't want to get too crazy about it, but I do feel like this was a defining win for the Jacksonville Jaguars season. And now they're sitting at 4-1 alongside the Colts in the AFC South. And the Colts got a little something to say about it. I don't know that we thought at the beginning of the season that this was going to be the toughest division in the league, and we're looking at it now, and we're talking about 2 balanced teams that are relying on the QB play to just be decent. And right now the QBs are exceeding, of course, in Jacksonville. It's kind of wishy-washy with Trevor Lawrence. You really don't know what you're going to get. It's kind of it's it's similar to a Carson Wentz experience what's happening with Trevor Lawrence, but on the more positive side because you really don't know exactly what you're going to get from Trevor Lawrence, or at least on a consistent basis. But we look at that Colts team, JB, being led by JT and Daniel Jones in the offense. But I think we kind of forget about how well that defense is playing. Right now, we're talking about a top 10 defense in the league. What are your expectations from the AFC South, and who would you lean towards right now to win that division between the Jaguars and the Colts?
Well, for me overall, I think it comes down to obviously both quarterbacks are having pretty decent years
Mhm.
so far, but I like Daniel Jones. I like what he's been doing, getting that whole offense involved. In Jacksonville, we have some question marks around Trevor Lawrence getting these guys involved. Sometimes he's making some boneheaded plays. You just don't know what you're going to get. I feel like Daniel Jones, I think he is playing good. Now, is he going to play good every single week? I don't know. That's the only thing. You
TBD,
kind of have
TBD.
those flashbacks of the New York Giant days where, he had some moments and then he had some really bad moments. But right now I'd rather put my money on the Colts right now to win that division. And you can't discredit the Texans. They're hanging around too. Got a dominant win. So they got something to say too. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams kind of play out, how it shakes up. They're 2-3, the Texans, but you never know what's going to happen. One of these teams could kind of go on, maybe lose a couple games
Yeah,
in a
go on a
row,
little
and the
heater here.
Texans stack on some wins. You never know what's going to happen. So, but right now, I'd rather put my money on the Colts just because I think their offense is a
Oh,
um,
hey
more put
JB,
together right
let,
now. A little more
let
put
me
together.
pause you on that. Let me pause you on that real quick. Let's immediately. I just click on the Texans, right, and their schedule pops up here, and we go down their schedule, and you might take back what you just said here, because this weekend they have, or it's actually Monday Night Football. They go into Seattle to play the Seahawks, who just came off a pretty big, a pretty tough L there to the Buccaneers this past weekend. But after that, then they play San Francisco, and then they got the Broncos, and then the Jaguars. So they got a hell of a 4 game stretch here. Obviously, it's going to be dependent on how they come out of this stretch because it does get easier if they can get out of there at least 2-2. But I mean that division is very much alive because we've seen what CJ Stroud is capable of, even though he says he's an old man and only being 23 and not even in the prime of his body just yet. Obviously, he came out yesterday because he got trolled because he said he's getting a little bit slower because he's getting old. Said it in a joking manner, so he had to address it. And he said, "Hey, yo, y'all take a look things a little too serious nowadays. I was just messing around." But he's still developing, he's still developing into his adult body. 23 years old. We saw what he was capable of last year or 2 years ago, his rookie season, where he had one of the best rookie seasons of all time, or the best rookie season of all time. So we can't count them out. I do like the Texans still making a run, but what a tough 4 game stretch there. I mean, we're talking Seahawks, Niners, Broncos, Jags. Damn, that could easily be an 0-4. You're looking at maybe going for a first round pick there at that point. Um, Hey JB, did you see? I don't want to switch up from football, but did you see LeBron is coming out today with the decision numero dos? Did you
Yeah,
did you see that?
yeah,
What let's just float ideas around here because the announcement is not yet. Obviously, it's this afternoon. I think it said 12 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 10 o'clock our time locally. We're coming out here from Roswell, New Mexico. So if you are watching, don't forget to hit us with a little share and dance around like you just don't care. But JB, what are your expectations of this announcement? What do you think? Let's just throw out some ideas here. What are we thinking? What are we thinking?
Honestly, I don't know. I was just kind of reading some comments, some type of
AC
endorsement
Bronny's?
deal. I don't think he's retiring. I don't know what kind of announcement it is, to be honest. It's one of those things where you're scrolling and you see, oh, LeBron's got an announcement. I honestly just kept scrolling. Honestly, just kept scrolling.
Oh no, I don't care. Is that the vibe
Yeah,
you're giving me right now?
I really just don't care. I don't know. I didn't look too
IDK.
deep into it, so it's one of those things where I just gotta watch it to see what's up. But I really just I don't know what to expect out of this. I don't think it's nothing like crazy drastic or something like that. I just think it's some sort of announcement that he's making that I don't know. He's partnered with somebody, endorsement deal, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. I really don't know though.
I will say this: if it's some bullshit UFC type promo thing, like in the UFC, you'll see this a lot whenever we're expecting like a big fight announcement. Recently, John Jones is probably the face of doing this, where everybody's like, "All right, John Jones is gonna fight Tom Aspinall," and then they both kind of cut promos, or they use their opportunity to break news, and they are just advertising something. So
Yeah,
they announce an announcement just to promote like deodorant or
yeah.
I'm just throwing stuff out, but they use that opportunity to promote some ad. So maybe LeBron is just promoting some show, but I think we're all expecting the same thing here. I think we're all expecting that LeBron is announcing his wannabe Kobe Bryant retirement tour, right?
I think that's what we're probably expecting.
And of course, our Kobe haters or Kobe lovers are calling this wannabe Kobe, but it's well deserved. LeBron is the GOAT of this generation. LeBron is and has been the best basketball player in the world for quite some time. I mean, I guess you could say not anymore, but we can't take away from the fact that this 6'8" or 6'11", 260 animal couldn't play multiple sports. He could probably go into the NFL and make some type of difference. This is probably the one. This is a generational athlete that could probably play any sport that he wanted or fight if he wanted. Regardless of how you feel about LeBron James, he is 6'8", 260, and he's the best at what he does, and he's probably one of the most athletic. They, LeBron could probably do whatever he wanted if you just gave him 6 months of training and doing it. But shout out to LeBron. Shout out. LeBron's gonna get his retirement. Will you go? So whenever Kobe retired, so JB, let's look at this tweet. This tweet real quick. This was funny. I think I got Sintel'd, and I think so did Bronny. But they posted. Draymond Green says, "Please tell me this is just you trading Bronny." And then Bronny replies with, "Bron is not trading for you." Obviously, there's this whole thing in the NBA of Draymond Green always glazing for LeBron James. And I think Bronny got Sintel by that comment, but it is kind of funny. I'm gonna be curious to see how Draymond Green reacts on his show. But the NBA is back, JB. The NBA is back. I don't know how much we'll cover it. We'll probably just dabble every now and then when something cool happens. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Seth Curry is now going to be playing with his brother Steph Curry. That's kind of cool. That's and then the Warriors also added Al Horford. Pretty
Mhm.
cool, pretty cool. But I do think it's dope that the two brothers are playing together. Seth made a joke about him buying the number 30 from Steph Curry. Obviously, he's not going to sell his number to his brother, but he became number 31. So
Yeah,
let's go Warriors. Let's go Warriors, JB. But LeBron announcement, probably his retirement. If it's anything else, I'll be very, very disappointed because it would just be a complete gas up. Either that, I mean, I can't think of anything else that it would be. What else? What else? What
clear.
else?
You
What
mean
else?
retirement tour, not retirement, but retirement tour. To be
Retirement
clear,
tour. The tickets, the last game of the season in LA, tickets went up from $86 to $450. We're talking about nosebleed. Whenever Kobe Bryant retired, the first thing I did was I bought a ticket to watch him. I never got to watch him. I wish I wouldn't have waited until he announced his retirement. I wish. And what's stupid, this is what makes me so mad. And my wife told me this too. She's like, I don't know why you waited until his retirement if you had the money to be able to go watch him sooner. And it's like, that's a good point, right? Like we always spend money on. I mean, granted, you could say that is dumb stuff to spend your money on, but that's my entertainment. So to me, that's my money's worth. But yeah, hey, if you want to watch your favorite player, you should do it right now. You shouldn't wait until they're going to retire. But I did get to go watch Kobe Bryant. He played against the Houston Rockets. We went out there in Houston. We had a grand time. Kobe dropped 38 points. Had a flurry in the fourth quarter. It was a dope game, but James Harden also dropped 38 points. He dropped 13 in the fourth quarter. Oh my goodness, bro. It was crazy. I mean, James Harden was doing the whole stir up. It was a good game going into the fourth. I think Lakers were up by like 4, and then James Harden starts cooking, goes off. Him and Kobe have a back and forth. Ah, it was I just wish the Lakers would have won so I could have seen them win, but the fact that Kobe dropped 38, it just it was cool. What a beauty. What a beauty. Big ass dudes, I will tell you that, JB. You feel real small. And up until my first basketball game, whenever you watch these basketball games, you're like, Steph Curry's small, Chris Paul is small. No, they're not. They're 6'2", 6'4". Like Dwight Howard is such a massive human being. Like his head looks so small because his body is so freaking huge. It blew my mind, JB. Made me feel so little. But yesterday I saw a stat that 3.4 of the American population is over 6'2". So
Yeah.
yeah, yo, let's chill out calling everybody a short king because it's only 3% that is tall. Okay, let's relax. And my driver's license says I'm 5'10", but if you see me, I'm probably 5'9". But with my shoes on, I'm definitely 5'10". I'm gonna stick with 5'10", what my driver's license says, even though we get to pick what's on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But well, I'm sure we'll react to that LeBron news tomorrow. But JB, other news in the NFL, not great news, but it's kind of bad news. But we got to talk about it because it is football. Mark Sanchez over the weekend got stabbed in Indianapolis. Immediate reactions, if you go on X, is obviously prayers. Hope he survives. Everybody's heartfelt for it. Obviously, I was too. I was like, dang, that's tough, man. That sucks. Obviously, you don't want to jump to conclusion until the facts start to come out. And as you notice, I'm sure you've seen as the facts started to come out, it seems like Mark Sanchez was a little bit intoxicated, allegedly intoxicated. And he got in a little bit of a scuffle with a 60-plus-year-old truck driver who picks up oil waste from, I believe, restaurants, and he was just doing his job late at night, and it seems like Mark Sanchez was on a little bit of an ego check, a little intoxicated, a little overly intoxicated from what it sounds like. They had a dispute going back and forth. The guys felt like his life was threatened. Mark Sanchez was beating him up. Stabs Mark Sanchez a couple of times. There's a video of Mark Sanchez stumbling to a restaurant to get help. And man, I'll tell you what, on that video when he's stumbling, I would have thought he would have been crawling on his knees, but it looked like he didn't feel nothing. It was like zombie-like type. Um, and now Mark Sanchez is possibly facing felonies there in Indianapolis. He did get bailed out yesterday, but man, I feel like there's no coming back from that. Definitely I feel like we saw the end of Mark Sanchez as an analyst or as anything to do in football, maybe even just him outside with the general population of the world. Sad news, JB. When you saw that, what was your initial thought? Oh, hey Jay, Jay. Oh, your mic's out, Jay. JB. Yeah, your mic's not working. Right, Jay? Is it just me? Hey guys, whoever, if you're listening, I apologize for this. JB, your mic's out. If you could just exit out and come back in. But yeah, man, that's some tough news. As soon as JB comes back in, we'll have him address it. But yeah, tough luck, man. If you're out, I mean, when you go out, guys, let's be cautious. Let's be careful. Let's let this be a learning lesson to all of us that it can happen to anybody. And obviously, I mean, I'm sure most of us have been intoxicated at some point in our lives and made some bad decisions. I know I have myself. And all you can do is learn from them at this point, right? But just be smart, man. We got to go to work on Monday. What are we trying to fight for? What are we trying to fight for? We got to go to work on Monday. That's my mentality every time. It's like you can. What's that? Sticks and stones, or what's that saying, JB? Sticks and stones can break my bones, but
May
words
break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
will never hurt me. Yeah,
That's what we're talking
we
about.
got to check our egos as men sometimes. Like I get
Listen,
it, I get it. Some guy tries to act tough, calling you a couple words that may hurt your feelings or might make you feel a certain way. But guess what? That guy's life is probably in shambles right now, or buddy's probably going through something that you'll never feel. And if anything, we should just feel sorry for that person. And we should probably just pray for that person that he finds some type of sense of uh of life, because he's willing to risk it all for such a small moment in his life, and that can change the entire trajectory of his entire life. So, guys, just stay up, man. Stay alert, take care of each other. And in that situation just makes me want to say, man, I love you guys. I love all my homies, guys. I love y'all. Y'all be careful out there. Stay alert, and just remember, most of us, a lot of my friends now have kids and stuff. So just remember, man, you got a kid to go home to. So if you ever need a purpose in life, that will ultimately give you the greatest purpose, is your kids and your wife. So take care of those, guys. But JB, right before your mic cut off, go ahead. What were you about to say?
You know, just hearing the story how it broke out, and then you hear the full story, and your perspective on it kind of changes. But then again, it's one of those things where let's see, let it play out, let everything play out before you start getting too quick into judging or whatever it might be. So
For
there's a lot
sure.
of things now, obviously, a lot of wrong reports coming out, things that are just not true. This kind of
Oh,
brings up the
yeah,
topic of what happened here.
crazy.
What?
Go, no, go.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
So this kind of brings up like the topic of that whole Carson Lacey deal, the young man who
Crazy.
unalived himself a couple months back. He was supposedly in a car accident, fled the scene, all that stuff. The reports come out now. He's innocent, and he was 70.9 yards away from the wreck itself, and all he did was just drive around it. And you see what these cops did. The cops planted this fake information to make him look like
They
he was
try to
involved.
frame him.
Try to frame this guy for no reason, and then that's, I mean, who knows why he did what he did to himself. That's between him and God at this point. But um just to have somebody proven innocent, and somebody that wasn't even involved in things, like I'm not, when stories like this come out, you gotta, see how it plays
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Don't be too quick to
And you
judge.
know, you know what sucks, JB, is that situations like this put such distrust in the rest of the community. Like, we're supposed to we're supposed to trust that those officers or everybody that's involved in that situation, that they're being truthful, that they're really in the interest of the public here. And it just, God, man, that was gross as it came out yesterday. And it makes the rest of it makes the rest of the cops look bad, and I hate it. My little sister's a cop, and I pray that all of them stay safe, and I hope that one bad apple doesn't ruin the taste for the rest of those that are actually out there to serve and protect us, man. Don't Let's not get blinded by the evil that's out there, because there is good people that are really out there trying to protect us, and are trying to look out for our best interest, man. And right now, we'll probably have a bit here pretty soon. Right now, locally, we have our sheriffs are battling it out to see who will be our next lead sheriff. So as we get to know more information, I kind of asked the group chat a little bit of how they feel. I don't want to give my opinion on it because I don't know enough of both. I did get to see them at the fair this weekend, so that was kind of cool. But we'll dabble a little bit into that probably next week, JB, just to kind of get a feel, kind of just educate our audience a little bit on what, at least from what we researched and what we saw. But with that being said, God, was such a downer there. Uh, R.I.P. to that kid. Prayers to his family. I hope that justice is served for them, and gosh, man, I hope they get a good chunk of money to. I know that's never going to heal their heart or their wounds, but at least they can be set to change change those people's lives around them, and the people that they come in contact with. But JB, the Eagles seem to have fallen apart this weekend, blowing a 14-point lead. This weekend was actually the it was we could title it as the weekend of comebacks here, JB. And let me just pull this up for you. Weekend of comebacks. There was 5 comebacks on Sunday. One led by the Broncos, overcoming the Eagles on a 14-point deficit. JB, The Eagles, you touched on this yesterday. You said, how does Saquon Barkley only have 6 touches? That's actually a good question, JB, and I think you got an answer for it. How do the Eagles only give Saquon 6 touches this past Sunday with having a 14-point lead?
Injury. There's something going on. Obviously, the Eagles didn't hold a practice yesterday, but he wouldn't have practiced yesterday, so there is a knee injury that took place during that game that could have limited his touches. Obviously, you can see what happens when this team does not give Saquon the ball, and the passing game is already struggling. Jalen Hurts is already kind of struggling. A lot of question marks around that receiving core. What are they going to do? This kind of opens up the wounds. They've been kind of like a leaky faucet. The first month of the season. They're still winning, still getting games done, but hey, we still have a leak, right? It still needs to be addressed, or it's going to get worse and worse. And now that you got the loss, and you kind of saw the past game still struggle, this is opened up to something worse now. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. Some question marks in Philly for sure. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with AJ Brown.
You know what's crazy is so I was watching a couple highlights from that game, and a lot of the question marks was going into that game was the OC, right? We talked about this last week, how the OC was kind of getting under fire there with a lot of the struggles that was going on in Philly, and obviously they hear it. They hear it obviously, because to only have 6 touches for Saquon and try to get the wide receivers going. Um, I mean, that was probably what caused them that loss. But I watched the highlights. JB, I mean, the passes are there. It seems like players are in the right position. I mean, we just look at that double move from AJ Brown where Jalen Hurts overthrows him. That play is being up for question right now, because it does look. If you do watch that play, you do see AJ Brown kind of slow up a little bit, and you assume if he's still in a dead sprint, Jalen Hurts drops a dime. There was about 3 or 4 passes in that game where Jalen actually got it to the wide receiver. The wide receiver just couldn't handle it. Wide receiver was in the right position. For whatever reason, they just didn't complete it. I don't want to just put it all on Jalen, because it seems like they are in the right spots. Just for whatever reason, they're not executing. So I don't want to put too much pressure on the OC, especially after that game. But I mean, your bread and butter is running the ball. Why would you get away from it? That's going to be interesting the way this plays out, because if they continue to run it, does AJ or honestly, it's just AJ Brown at this point. I don't know that I've seen anything from Devontae Smith that would point towards him being frustrated. Have you seen anything?
I've seen interviews. Yeah, they point out to it. They don't make a big deal out of it, but they just bring it up.
Yeah.
Talking about their involvement and things like that. But the big thing in Philly right now, and this is what I've kind of noticed under the Sirianni head coach regime, whatever you might say. Sirianni himself is not a scheme guy. You got head coaches like Kevin O'Connell that have their own schemes, this and that. Sirianni, he depends on these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. And you saw a couple years back when they had that, I can't remember who the defensive coordinator is, but they were one of the worst defenses in the league, right? And there was just no bounce back after that. This year, they look a little bit iffy with their offensive coordinator. There's some issues with that. Obviously, we saw what happened when they had Steichen and the other guy Gannon as their coordinators. You have success, you win a Super Bowl. There's or you at least make it to the Super Bowl. So there's question marks around Sirianni and his ability to have a scheme. He doesn't really do that. He relies on his coordinators to do that. So coordinators are a big thing in Philly right now. Philly, their offensive line is in the middle of the pack, which we've seen dominance out of them the last, who knows how long, just years. It seems like they're always top 3 offensive lines in the league. Right now, they're ranked, in the middle of the pack. There's just some things not clicking right now in Philly overall. So, you get frustration. Some of these players start to speak up. They might not make a big deal out of it, but it is their answers. It's depending on their answers.
if we have any Eagles fans watching right now, drop it in the comments. Let me know what your feeling is from Philadelphia. Or you can also call in at 575-808-9307 and we can answer those questions. But I'm just curious to know what a Philly fan outside of X feels, because X is so toxic. Of course, that's where we get a lot of our information from, unfortunately. But it's a toxic place. You got to kind of weave through all the BS to get to an actual feeling there. And if it doesn't have a face on it, I wouldn't listen to it. If your X source that you're using to get information from doesn't have a face on it, don't use it. Don't use it, because that person is purposely there to be a troll and to be a bot, or is a bot. But JB, yeah, I'm curious to see how Eagles fans truly feel, or at least here locally. But there was multiple games here that teams overcame deficits. And I mean, the Titans overcame an 18-point deficit to beat the Arizona Cardinals 22-21. Speaking of Gannon there, Gannon did punch one of his players that fumbled the ball, right? He was pissed. He was pissed. The Panthers overcame a 17-point deficit to defeat the Miami Dolphins 27-24. There is a meltdown out there in Miami with the Dolphins. Mike McDaniels had another awkward press conference. He kind of talks like, well, you see, the way the defense comes out, we try to protect, but it doesn't work. That wasn't me. That's exactly how Mike Daniels sounds. So if you were listening to that, you're probably like, "What the hell?" That is a professional head coach in the National Football League. It was. I know I sound like a dumbass, or a dummy. Sorry. I apologize. But tough. And at the beginning, right, JB, whenever he first gets hired, it's like, oh, this offensive guru. And we kind of deal with all the baloney that I mean, it's not like he's changed. That's exactly how his press conferences have been. He's been the cool dude, little guy around a bunch of big men. But he's never changed. He's been himself, authentically himself. And of course, it's easy to put up with it, JB, when you're winning. But now they're not winning, so the seat's getting hot, and none of that stuff is cool. As of right now, none of that stuff is cool, according to X. But Broncos overcame what we just talked about, 14-point deficit to beat the Philadelphia Eagles 21-17. Then the Saints overcame an 11-point deficit to beat the Giants. And that Jackson Dart team, they came out hot, putting 14 points on the Saints there. And then Spencer Rattler seems to have caught a little bit of fire here in the National Football League, JB. Maybe Kellen Moore is up to something. I know it was only their first win, but hey, they looked rather decent, JB. You got any thoughts on that Saints Giants game with Jackson Dart?
Well, it's the first game since 1998 since a drafted quarterback by the Saints has won a game. So that's a
repeat that. Repeat that one more. Say that one more time.
So it's been since 1998 since a quarterback drafted by the Saints has won a game. That is almost a 30-year span. So Spencer Rattler broke that.
Or tripping on the Cowboys. No, I'm just playing.
This is just a quarterback win.
We don't need to go. We don't need to go
there. But I mean, Saints. I think eventually this is one of those things. I don't know if they can start stacking on wins. They're just overall like not the best football team, but this is kind of what happens when you let your quarterback, play a season and a half almost. He's getting his experience in. He's making some plays, and we'll see how it turns out. I mean, you still got Alvin Kamara back there, Kendra Miller, Juwan Johnson, Rashid Shaheed had a good game. So they have some guys to throw to, some guys, a decent running game, things like that. There's really not much you could say about Saints. It's just they're going to be playing for like a early first round pick. And, it's just they got to win. They got to win. Let's see if they can carry it over. Kellen Moore's first win. So I don't think there's too much into it. I mean, obviously, it was Jackson Dart's second start.
You're so nice.
Team over there, not very good themselves. So it's good for New Orleans. It's good for New Orleans.
I like how nice you are. I like how nice you are.
Need that.
Deserved. Yeah, we do a daily show, so you gotta extend the answer just a little bit. But to sum up what you just said, who cares? Who cares? That's what I heard from you, JP. The poor Saints and the Giants. Hey, but Giants can go out here and make a run. They got the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. Saquon Barkley did not practice yesterday due to soreness, but according to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, it's no big deal. It's just normal soreness from a Sunday game. He'll be fine and ready to go on a short week, heading into MetLife to go against the New York Giants there on Prime TV. JB, last one here. The Commanders overcame a 10-point deficit to defeat the Chargers 27-10. Oh my goodness. The alarms are going off in LA. Nope, that is not your alarm to wake up and go to work, guys. That is the alarm in LA. Not for the Rams, but for the Chargers. JB, a team that just about 2 weeks ago we were like, wow, Justin Herbert, potential MVP. Oh my goodness, the Chargers might be Super Bowl contenders. Wow, what a 360 or a 180 turn that took. Happened so fast. And that's why we can't get too excited at the start of the season. But I do appreciate Chargers fans getting behind their team and getting excited and slightly becoming a little delusional to the reality of the long season that the NFL is. But JB, what is going on? What is going on with Justin Herbert and this team right now? And don't say injuries because everybody has them, JB. I know they're missing three offensive linemen, and their best left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the league, all pro, but he's going to be out for the rest of the season. So we can't use that. We can't use that as an excuse, JB. Okay. With that being said, what is going on in LA?
I think it's a now you have Amari in Hampton. He's hurt. Najee got hurt. Last week, a week or two ago. So now you're kind of scrapping around for who's going to be that next running back up. So fantasy owners, scrapping around, looking who the second, third, fourth string guys are. Defense isn't playing like lights out how it was. Justin Herbert makes some questionable decisions throughout some games, but I just don't think they're clicking right now. I don't think it lasts. I think they get back to their winning ways though. But I mean, they did lose to the Commanders. Commanders are a respectable team. Jaden
Daniels did
his
come
first
back.
game back. Fantasy owners for Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. He had a heck of a game. So they're coming into their own. I think right now they still have their issues, obviously in the passing game a little bit, but for the most part, Debo's looking good. I mean, that was a tough team to play against. But yeah, to come out and only put up 10 points, that's definitely a concern. So the offense
Oh
obviously
yeah.
isn't clicking like how it was. The big plays are not there. Quentin Johnson, he's kind of quieted down after the first month of the year. Keenan Allen didn't really pop off like how he has been. So there's a few question marks. It's going to be interesting to see like how they make adjustments and who maybe they'll bring somebody in at the running back spot, but I'm not too sure right now. It's just they're just not looking too good, and eventually these offensive line injuries will catch up to you. Rashawn
For
Slater,
sure.
they
We're
got
seeing that right now.
they got lucky with that. They were still playing good, but then you get Joe Alt out, and then you got another guy that's now hurt. So when you're down three offensive linemen, it's always hard to now you got to pretty much get cohesiveness with four other guys, and you have to incorporate a couple new guys into the lineup. That always takes a minute to gel, even if it does gel, So it's kind of what we're seeing in Minnesota. Like we were so bad the first month, and we had three guys out, but now we're starting to I don't know. It looked a little bit better against the Browns, but yeah. So it's a you got to take your humps. It's a long season. You have your ups and downs. So right now, obviously, the Chargers are in a slump, but I think they get out of it, and they're still going to be fighting for a playoff spot for sure by the end of the year.
And JB, just looking at their schedule, I mean, it looks like we can turn it around this weekend. Why not? You're going over to Miami to play the Dolphins at 11 o'clock. Come on, that's a get back game. That's a hey, let's chill out. As Santi just said here in the comment, the Chargers still lead. their division. They're still 3-2. They just dropped back-to-back games, no problem. The Giants came off of it was Jackson Dart's first start. They were at home, the juice was flowing. They were down 3 offensive linemen. Maybe they just got, right? It's just one of those games. And then they just happened to be led by the Commanders. Jaden Daniels coming back from injury, and obviously they elevate themselves. But now this is a get-back game. Let's tone it down. Let's all align here, and let's move forward. Justin Herbert can lead this team and bounce right back against the Dolphins this weekend. But after that, it does get a little tough. They got the Colts, and it gets a little tougher because they got the Vikings. Maybe J.J. McCarthy's back at that time. You know what blew me away yesterday, JB? Actually, you know what? We won't go there just yet. Commanders. I don't want to take away from what the Commanders did either. Jaden Daniels coming back, having a pretty stout game. The rookie running back helped me, Ja'Cory Karosky, cooking, but he only had 14 touches, but had 111 yards, JB. He averaged 7.9 yards a carry. So maybe it's not just on the offense over there in LA. It seems like that defense got straight ran through, but he had 2 touchdowns as long as rush was for 27 yards. You tell me, JB, how good this Washington team is right now. Jaden Daniels only threw 26 times. He went 15 for 26, but had 231 yards, averaging 8.9 yards per throw, JB. That's insane. That's insane. That's almost a first down every throw. He only had 1 touchdown and 71.8 QBR. And only got sacked once. Buddy was protected back there as he should have, especially coming off the injury. I think Washington did. I mean, they did more than expected, obviously, right? They were playing against a good Chargers or still a good Chargers team. We're not gonna step on them just yet. Still a good Chargers team, and the Washington Commanders lead themselves to 3-2. Is the NFC East maybe we jumped the gun on the Jags and Colts there? Is the NFC East the toughest division in the NFC right now?
Well, in the NFC, you could say that. You could say it's up
NFC's wide
there.
open, baby.
You could say it's up there.
NFC's wide open, JB. And what did
You
we
have the
say
NFC
yesterday? The NFC's
East.
wide. The Cowboys are a move away, JB. Why not? Hashtag free Max Crosby. I'm gonna keep nailing it on the head, JB, because the Cowboys need to make a move today, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I can wait until Thursday, but we got to make a move. And it's Max Crosby. Hashtag free Max Crosby. We got to save this guy. We got the picks to do it. Now go make it happen. We got the money to sign an elite player like that, and it's a win-win, JB. We already got Kenny Clark. Now we bring in Max Crosby for a lesser amount of money, 3 years. We'll take it. Give me that. That's a dub. You tell me in fantasy, if you had the choice, I know defensive players aren't tradable in fantasy football, but if you had the choice to trade Micah Parsons for Max Crosby and Kenny Clark, your GM would void that so fast because it doesn't make sense. But Dallas is in a situation to make that happen, JB. Roll your eyes. Roll your eyes, JB. Roll your eyes. Roll your eyes. Go ahead. Roll it. Because when it happens, guess who's going to be laughing?
It's not going to happen.
This guy. This guy right here, JB. Come on. The boys are back. I know. Hey, I know you guys. I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, Renee, chill out. Chill out. They beat the Jets. We're about to start flowing. Your boy's about to get loud. The schedule. I mean, you look at the schedule. You say what you want about that schedule, boy. But it's tough. It's the NFL. These guys can make just as much money as the other side. But we're about to go on a run here, JB. And I love it. The NFC East might be the best team in the division. I mean, look at all the struggles with the Eagles right now, but they're still sitting 4-1, nice and pretty. Look at the Commanders, JB, coming off Jaden Daniels' injury, and they're still sitting at 3-2. You tell me. You tell me what's the best division in the NFC, JB.
I'd still take the NFC North. You have no who's the Super Bowl contenders? How many Super Bowl contenders do you have in your division in the NFC East?
3.
Let's just say that.
3.
No, you don't.
Who do you have?
The Packers, the Lions. That's 2. I'm not going to mention the third because I don't think so. But you have the Lions, Packers, you have the Vikings, and the Bears. And the Bears are better than your 4th team. So obviously, I think the NFC North is still better than the NFC East. It's just, and that's not even me being biased. It's just
no way, boys. Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Who's the crazy one?
I wish my division was easy, I should say. So the fact that I know the Cowboys talk, dude. It just kills. I think we lost 8 viewers just now As soon as you start talking about all this
Oh
delusional stuff with Max Crosby, I think we lost 8 viewers. So
no. Don't do that, JB. Come on, I'm telling you right now. Hey, I'm not saying it's Max Crosby. I'm just, I'm reaching for the stars here. There's nothing wrong with wanting to reach for the stars, JB. But I'll take someone like Trey Hendrickson. I don't mind. I think Miami's selling. I think the Jets are selling. I think there's a couple guys out there that we can make a move for, and we have the draft assets and the capital to make the move happen. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. All right. Let's relax a little bit, but I do think the NFC is so open, JB, that right now the leader was Philly, right? And look at all the question marks on Philly, and after that, it's just kind of like potential, potential, potential. I mean, even Green Bay, right? Green Bay right away after week 1, we were like, hey, this Micah Parsons trade might have been it. This might have been what could have gotten the Green Bay Packers over the hump. But then now we're sitting here at week 5 going into week 6, and it's like, can the Packers still not stop the run? Is the kryptonite of the Green Bay Packers still going to be the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers when they run the ball down their throats? We've seen this story multiple times. And if anything, you can look at that Packers team and say that the running game has gotten worse. Like, I think we said this earlier in the year. That team right now, that defense, I mean, it's just the Cowboys defense. It looks like the Cowboys. It sure did look like the Cowboys defense against the Cowboys. It was a team that couldn't stop the run, and Javonte Williams put it right down their throat. Now you tell me what you think CMC is going to do. Now you tell me what you think Saquon Barkley is going to do. Now you tell me what you think Jamar Gibbs and Montgomery are going to do. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I'm sitting here going into week 6, and in my head I'm thinking Green Bay Packers are easily going to get to the Super Bowl. Right now I'm questioning them getting them to the NFC Championship. But hey, we're gonna find out, right? Long season, JB. But that's just how open the NFC is. That's how open the NFC is right now. And I know I'm getting a little lost in the sauce with the whole Cowboy talk, but that is how open it is. And the Cowboys are still in it and can make one move to really change up the trajectory of how the season's going to go. You can't be complacent with what we see right now in Dallas. If you're Jerry Jones and you've seen the interviews, he's like, yeah, our defense is going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. Well, we have the right personnel in the locker room right now. Sure, we might. Cool. But it's not going to hurt to add one more person if you have the opportunity to do it. And if you have the capital and if you have the assets to make that move, why not take advantage of it now? Are we not trying to win a Super Bowl? Is the whole point of the season not to go win a championship? Yes, it is, Jerry Jones. So why not make it happen today? Why are we waiting until tomorrow? Make a move to get this fan base back bought in. Because right now we're just sitting on the edge right now. We're like, oh, don't really know what to expect from us. We're sitting at 500 right now. And that's exactly how we should feel as Cowboy fans. And we're waiting for Jerry Jones to really get us over the hump. Make us remember why you're a billionaire. Make us remember why that brain is such a generational brain, why you're such a genius. Remind us, Jerry. Remind us. Remind us today. Why not, JB? Why not? You hate it. You hate it. We lost another 8. Sorry, guys. I apologize. JB, last night's game. Let's just kind of recap that real quick for the fellas that missed it. Last night's game, Trevor Lawrence drives down, kind of mumbles and stumbles to win that game. There's a lot of criticism coming out for Chris Jones right now. If you looked at that last play, I guess he was kind of like nonchalant, didn't really go after Trevor Lawrence. I think just looking at that replay that Chris Jones was, he probably thought Trevor Lawrence was going to get touched while he was on the ground and get down. So I think that's where the lack of effort was. But takeaways from that game, JB. How do you feel about Kansas City? How do you feel about Jacksonville?
Kansas City, I think it's still too early to press the panic button on them. I kind of thought they were going to win this game. I did think they were going to win this game. I thought they were going to start,
Me too.
turning the tide. But you have Rashee Rice to look forward to. He's going to be coming back in a couple weeks. I think that offense is going to be moving. I mean, the biggest play of the game, we all saw it, the pick six and the goal line. That changes everything. That changed the entirety of the game. And the Jaguars were doing just enough. Honestly, the Jaguars, if they don't get stopped on that first possession that they have at the goal line, like they're in control of this game for most of the game. They don't go down 14 to 0. So the Jaguars, honestly, they played a solid game. They had a good game plan. Trevor Lawrence played solid for the most part. He played good. and you got Brian Thomas involved. You got ETN involved again. The defense has been playing good. They kind of did what they did against Mahomes. They did a good job of keeping him bottled up for the most part, limiting the big plays. There's a few here and there, but they did start letting Mahomes kind of get loose, in the second half. He had like 60 yards rushing. So, but overall, you got to do what you can't stop. You can't stop every aspect of the Chiefs sometimes. And I think they were at the point where they're starting to get rolling back up again. It's just Mahomes, he got careless with the ball through the pick six. I think that was the defining play of the game. And then you give Trevor Lawrence the ball back, that team the ball back, and they haven't really been stopped all game. I mean, here and there you get your stops, but for a clutch play, I mean, these guys are getting paid the same. Like you mentioned it earlier, they're getting paid the same. Chiefs players are getting paid the same as the Jaguars players. So it's just you got to show up at the end. Who's going to make the plays?
Yeah, buddy.
Trevor Lawrence was throwing some dots down the sideline to Brian Thomas. I mean, he made some good throws on that last drive that propelled that team to win. And his feet were definitely a game changer for sure. So I think both teams are still. I think the Chiefs are still looking for a playoff spot. They're still a contender. The Jaguars now are. This is a solid win that's going to help propel them. And mind you, they did get a good win, a really good win last week in San Francisco. So to go to San Francisco on the West Coast, get a dub, go all the way back to Florida, and then beat the Chiefs. I mean, those are two really good wins. So this team, I think, is for real. I think they're for real. And I think they are going to be playing for the AFC South division title, them and the Colts, by the end of it. So we'll see who's a better team.
Well, don't know if you guys have seen the owner's celebration video, but they've been manifesting this since January, and this is going to continue forever. Those were my words. Those were his words. I appreciate you guys joining the show today. Thank you, all you guys in the comments. Thank you guys for sharing. JB, great show today. Jay, appreciate you back there. Jay, the producer, thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to be a friend. Tell a friend something nice that might change lives. Don't be afraid to just send a little text telling your buddy I love you and you're here for them. And as we are for you guys, we are here for you guys. We love you guys. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my kids. And JB, shout out to you, man. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Let's have one and let's enjoy it. God bless you. Best show yet.
Everybody trying to be content